Fans of Flux, new viewers or returning viewers who are a fan of Flux, if you have not taken the time to copy these extremely valuable origin lines, if you're for fans of this chart, I'm telling you, they work better for Flux than they do on average, like altcoins. Like you need to try your best to make this happen. And if they get too annoying for you and too busy, just use your object tree to make them disappear. I have a tutorial on how to set up your chart like mine. Not exactly how to do origin lines. That's in my Discord. Within the Discord community, I have a tutorial on that. But you need these lines if you like Flux, okay? All right, now let's start zooming into price to see what's happening. The first 2 requests during this live stream were about Flux, so that's pretty cool. All right. Let's go down to the small candles. All right. Yeah, so this is the moment where I nailed it. It came up shy of my origin line. I don't know why I thought it would, and then spiked. I haven't been looking at Flux since. I honestly don't remember it having... So here, let's zoom into this part. Watch. Like, just watch how perfectly this works, these origin lines. Lost support, lower high, took out the low. But before you go down, what do you got to do? You got to get everybody out of their shorts. Where's the limit to that? The origin line, particularly because you took out the low. Had this been a higher low, it would have actually had permission to go up here. But since it took out the low, going under an origin line, specifically, it didn't have permission to do much more than this. How perfectly that works. All right, now, a very, very common move. Here I kind of hesitated around it. Let's go to the tiny candles just to take a look. All right, so that's the same one. Went below it, used it as resistance. Let's look at the next one. So it tried to base off this. It tried to make this the neckline of an inverse head and shoulders. That's what it tried to do. So this was a failed inverse head and shoulders is what this was. So coming down, neckline, boom, come up, neckline, fake out, blast. That's what it was trying to do. That's what Bitcoin's doing right now, but on an angle. So the neckline is like this. So it looks boom, 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 and Bitcoin's right there right now. Does that make sense? That's what Bitcoin's doing. And this was a failed one. It tried to do it, but it couldn't. All right. And where has it wicked up to perfectly multiple times? And where did it get rejected from? The origin line. Are you guys seeing this? Are even these nasty wicks? Like, it's crazy. I don't know why it's working like this. Came up to it again. So here, take a look at this. Here's one of those interesting situations where a rule technically was never broken, but it looks like it was. With an origin line rule, but it wasn't broken. So this is a pop quiz. Not Flux specific, but origin line rules. And if you don't know the answer to this, what you're about to learn is valuable, so just listen. Pop quiz. Flux went below this line, made a low, and made a lower low. It did not touch this line. Why is it still have permission to go up if that seems obviously against the rules? A hint. It has to do with one of those moments where I say, and that's why I do that. Because moments like this, it looks like, oh my God, it's breaking rules. Like these origin line rules don't work, right? But that's why I say, and. All right. What is it? What's the answer? Somebody start typing. Even though we have a lag, I want to see people's guesses. Not telling you the answer until I start seeing some guesses. It didn't go below and get rejected by the line. This doesn't happen very often. So what this is, this looks like bigger money or a couple of whales who know each other who are accumulating this coin. It could be the founders because they know their company's going to do well, and they had to sell during the bull market to keep their business afloat, and now they're buying back. That might be what it is, and that's actually a good sign. Like company buyback in a bear market, that's pretty good if they're able to. But it's somebody. I can already tell because this was not used as resistance. So what was happening? They already knew that this was going to be their bottom, but the timing with Bitcoin wasn't right. So before they did this big, I guess what you call a vector candle, which I did not make up that word. I got that from another, I guess he's on YouTube. He's really good. But so this I guess, whatever you want to call it, pump candle. This means that the people here, whoever is essentially one of the bigger players of this coin, they knew this was going to be the bottom. Bitcoin was not ready. They waited till Bitcoin is ready. Then they blasted through the order book. That makes sense? And I can tell that because it never used this as resistance. It just allowed sellers to take it down, and that whatever group or whoever's a market maker in this, it's probably not very many people, or it's probably not something like $20 million of activity, but I mean, you can tell. Do you see what I'm saying? Nothing. So let's zoom way in here. Actually, I'm already zoomed way in. 3-minute chart. Look, went below. Did it use it as resistance? Yeah, on one candle, right there, but it got straight back up. So, I mean, one candle of a 3-minute, that's not quite enough. Went below, went straight back up. Went below, went straight right through it. Went below, went straight through it. Went below, when it touched it, what did it do? It looked like this was a rejection, but it didn't touch the line. So when it touched the line, what was the behavior of the candle? And again, this is not just for Flux, it's for everything. And try to replace closures above and below support and resistance with what I'm showing you. This is better. It works way better. Closures with support and resistance are used to trick you. I'm telling you. Now, there are some types of daily and weekly closures around certain lines that aren't often used for fake outs. But if it's a clear support and resistance, it's often used to fake you out. Okay, here we go. And this is more valuable. So at the support and resistance, how do the candles react? It's so much more valuable than the closures. I'm telling you. Because all this, I could already tell that if it came down, it had a strong chance of going back up. It never used it as resistance, right? And I haven't covered this long enough to really have been tracking it. And here, it went even lower and didn't use it as resistance. Low, didn't use it as resistance. So it went even lower because Bitcoin wasn't ready. And when it interacted with this, did it use it as resistance? Hell no. It blasted through it and used it as support. All right. So now where is Flux going? So now that we have that lesson on how to interpret support and resistance, and origin lines work for this coin exceptionally well. We're going to have to get to price. Oh my God, that was, all right. So this big move, what did it base off of? So I haven't moved this line for over a year. It's real. Looking how the candles behave on that line, I'm telling you, it is one of the most valuable freaking things I've ever discovered. Self-discovered. Have other people discover this? Absolutely. But I self-discovered it, right? Just like, has anybody on earth ever used what I consider origin lines that I made and created? Yeah, probably hundreds of people. Probably not in crypto, though. Maybe dozens of people. Oh, hey, draw the lines, guys. Hey, 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐸. Exactly. So is this not compelling? Why you want to draw the lines? It clearly based off of it and went up 2 and stopped exactly on it. Like, there's nothing more compelling than that, right? And then came straight back down, almost straight down. Went straight back down here, use this as resistance. Like, it's just insane. All right, here we go. So what's price going to do now? I don't know. You tell me. You know the rules. The rules on low time frames doesn't really make a lot of sense. So let me take a look. I guess it's between rules because you're coming. I don't count this. This is a 30-minute wick, so I'm not counting this as going below this. I'm counting it from here to here. This is an uptrend, so it can get rejected and make it. So, okay, so here's what is going to happen. Ignore this. This is not real. The real price action is this, okay? All right. Now, this probably just recovered something, and my origin line happened to align almost perfectly with it. There was something over here. But my origin lines are magic. They just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like glasses for people who can't see it. It just allows you to see what's happening. So with ignoring that, I'm going to say that this is going, your edge is up until you break higher low structure. Higher high structure is not needed, specifically the lows. Because we're not running into a commonly traded shape, that fake out down before it goes up, that happens at inverse head and shoulders before it breaks up, it often goes kablam, bam, right? Just like the fake outs to the upside go kablam, bam. The fake outs to the upside don't go like this, then that. Maybe on altcoins, because if Bitcoin pulls it down afterwards sometimes, but Bitcoin doesn't do that, right? So I don't expect this to happen. Rather, when it finally I would say, yeah, maybe this low. But if it takes out this low, that's when your edge is to the downside, at least to this origin line. If it takes out this low, that's when you can expect it to come up and get rejected by this line and then head down. That's it. So once it gets booted from this line, it has a high likelihood of wanting to get rejected by it, maybe even a rejection failure pattern and then come down. I would look for a double pattern on it. But so that's if this comes down, go outside of it, failure, rejection, then origin line. So let me mark those off. Boom. And it might, get rejected by this, about 56 cents if it happens soon. But regardless, this line, if it's way out here, it's going to be 58 cents. So it's not the exact price, it's the line itself. So that's how you get an edge to the downside. How much of a trade would that be? Get rejected down there, 13%. But realize once it leaves this, it's like that mean reversion back. It will want to snap back to it because buyers are still hopeful to get back in this channel. The sellers need to, it's like getting a second whooping or something, like to learn the lesson. Like they need a second beatdown before the buyers give up. That's literally what it is. So it's not like touching a stove. You need a few reminders. To the upside, I would be interested in guarding any long positions and having my stops in profit whenever price is here, because that's when it could turn around. That doesn't mean I would exit all my positions, but I would probably do something like, if I were in longs or even on spot, I would either tuck, Actually, no, the way I personally would do it, not financial advice on any coin in this situation, is I do it one of two ways. I typically take full profits and look to re-enter, and if it blows through it, I just look for another trade. That's how I usually do it in a bear market. I like to take my money fast. The other way I often do it is I take half, and this is how most of the traders on my Discord community do it. I'm just too impatient. I'm a spaz. I'm a crypto crackhead. That's just the way it is. So I like to take my money. Advantages and disadvantages to that, right? But the other way that might be better over time is I would take half profits and make for damn sure all the rest of my position, 0 chance of a loss even after fees. I would move my stops up. Would I hide it right under price? No, because you're going to get a higher low and you're going to get stopped out before it goes up. Like, why would you do that? I'm saying just make sure you can't take a loss. I would make sure I wouldn't be able to take a loss. And that's how I would play it. And then clearly, if I were in a position, I would be seeking profits. I would be done, totally out. I would front run this. I'd be out my 76 cents. And then shorting, I would wait for this to be used as resistance. I think it's going to do a double tap. It's either going to be a rejection failure pattern, or once it falls out, it's going to be a failure rejection pattern. So either rejections first or second, but I think it's going to be a double tap, and that is Flux. That was in depth as shit, but there was so much stuff in there that applies to everything else. I'm telling you, Bitcoin, everything. I really hope I'm helping you out.